It is Christmas Eve and the final dash to the shops and markets for many a festive feast is well underway. Myles Houlbrook-Walk is at the 36-hour seafood marathon at Sydney's fish market, which is packed to the gills this morning. What a pun. Myles, tell us how busy it's expected to get. Myles, where are you?
Seems like anyone can be a journalist these days, can't they, Emma? Even including my old friend here. Now, I dare say he won't be getting any fish from the Sydney seafood markets this year, but about 100,000 people have already rolled through the doors in what is a marathon 36-hour fish market frenzy, for want of a better word. We know these visitors will be coming through, and we're expecting more than 350 tonnes of seafood to be purchased across 100 different types of seafood. Just to give you a bit of an idea of some of the types of produce, we're going to see 120 tonnes of prawns. I know you love them, Emma. I'm more of an oysters man myself. There's about 70,000 dozen oysters being sold, by the way. And we're going to learn a little bit more across the next hour about the fish markets and what's going on. Right through here, though, as you can see, people have been coming for more than 24 hours at this stage. So at midnight, people are coming through the doors. At 4 a.m, people are coming through the doors. And at 7 a.m. right now, and even just after 8 o'clock here in Sydney, people are still coming through the doors. And it's all about this mad dash and scramble. And we're going to be learning a lot more about it, as well as some of the fresh fruit produce that is also down here. I wonder what I might be able to try across the next hour, Emma. All very exciting and, dare I say, even a little bit tasty.
I cannot wait, Myles, to see what's in store. Thanks. We'll check in with you a bit later. The New South Wales Government will this morning ask the Fair Work Commission to terminate or postpone protected industrial action by rail workers, amid fears it could disrupt the city's New Year's Eve celebrations. The Rail, Tram and Bus Union late yesterday announced it was dropping a string of work bans, including a limit on the distance rail crews would travel, which would have impacted services on New Year's Eve. Tony Ibrahim reports.
The Fair Work Commission will hear an application from the New South Wales Government this morning as it seeks to minimise train disruptions during the holidays. Hundreds of train services have been delayed or cancelled in Sydney since last week as rail unions try to negotiate a new enterprise agreement. Contention over a pay rise of 32% over 4 years has seen negotiations deteriorate and train disruptions escalate.
And what it would mean under those circumstances is literally a massive increase in the amount of fares that are charged to New South Wales commuters if we agreed to that salary increase, something in the order of 17% a year.
We're always here to negotiate. We're here to negotiate around all of our claims, including the 32% figure that is so often cited. All they have to do is sit at the table with us, and unfortunately, for the past 2 months, they just haven't been sitting at the table.
The Rail, Tram and Bus Union tried to make a deal with the state government, offering to postpone its industrial action if commuters could travel on public transport for free. The government shot the offer down, instead choosing to go ahead with its application before the Fair Work Commission. It's asking the workplace umpire to terminate the union's industrial action or to at least postpone it until January 7. Ahead of the hearing, the union withdrew 8 of its bans. The ongoing dispute is casting uncertainty over Sydney's New Year's Eve celebrations. The Police Commissioner says trains are key to getting people in and out of the city, and if services aren't reliable, then the fireworks display might need to be cancelled.
Tony Ibrahim reporting there. Surf Lifesavers are reminding people to keep an eye on conditions and to opt for a patrolled beach during the holidays. On the Gold Coast, lifeguards are warning of unstable surf conditions during Christmas, as Royal Lifesaving Australia reports 18 fatal drownings in the first 3 weeks of summer. The suspect in the killing of American health executive Brian Thompson has pleaded not guilty to New York state murder charges that brand him a terrorist. If convicted, Luigi Mangione faces a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Mangione also faces a 4-count federal criminal complaint charging him with stalking and killing Mr Thompson. In the historic move for the car industry, Honda and Nissan have announced plans for a merger. The two companies have signed a memorandum of understanding, with Nissan's alliance member Mitsubishi also agreeing to talks on integrating the business. If they proceed, the merger would be worth more than $50 billion, putting them in line with Toyota and Volkswagen.
And a reminder to all children to be on their very best behaviour because Santa is officially in transit to Australia. Footage has just come in of St Nick departing his North Pole village in Finland. Air Services Australia says he'll enter Australian airspace later today near Norfolk Island and will then zigzag across the nation to deliver presents before leaving via the Cocos Islands.
Look, we're going to head overseas now because prosecutors in Taiwan are seeking an 8-year jail term for a woman accused of trying to kill an Australian man with rat poison. Prosecutors say the accused was driven by jealousy when she spiked the food and drink of her friend Alex Shorey. North Asia correspondent James Oten reports.
Well, this is an extraordinary case from Taiwan early last year. An Australian man, Alex Shorey, was admitted to hospital suffering bleeding, cramps, diarrhoea, and when it looked like he was on the mend, his condition would suddenly deteriorate further, and it was revealed at the time that he'd been poisoned with rat poison. Well, now prosecutors have confirmed they've charged a woman that they've called Yang Ping, that's not her full name, with attempted murder. Now, prosecutors have revealed that Yang Ping befriended Alex Shorey, who was in Taiwan studying a Chinese language program. But when Alex announced that he was going to leave earlier than expected due to financial pressures and studying stress, Yang Ping allegedly got angry and she poisoned his drink with rat poison. And when he was admitted to hospital with these severe health problems, Yang Ping allegedly continued to poison his food and drink. It was only after Alex's mum arrived and was staying at Yang Ping's house in Taiwan that she discovered an empty bottle of rat poison. Now, she's raised the alarm with doctors and they've barred Yang Ping from administering any kind of medication at the hospital. Now, Alex did make a full recovery after his family raised $200,000 to get him flown to Australia to complete his treatment. But prosecutors say Alex Shorey could have died at any moment during this horrific ordeal. And they say Yang Ping was driven by jealousy, a need for control and revenge. They're saying that she has shown no remorse for this alleged crime, so they're calling for her to spend 8 years behind bars.
James Oten reporting there. Residents across Victoria and South Australia are being urged to remain vigilant as extreme fire conditions threaten both states. South Australia is set to swelter on Christmas Day, while in Victoria, Boxing Day could bring the worst bushfire conditions since Black Summer in 2019. Let's bring in Mikaela Ortolan in Melbourne and Bethany Alderton in Adelaide. Good morning to you both. Mikaela, first up, what are authorities saying to expect?
Good morning, Emma. Well, authorities, like you say, are urging Victorians to remain vigilant and to stay on high alert. There is an extreme fire danger rating that has been issued for most of the state except the Gippsland region for this point in time, but that is subject to change as well. Now, they're saying that conditions on Boxing Day could be as bad or worse than what we saw during the Black Summer bushfires in 2019-2020. Now, during those fires, more than 3,000 properties were destroyed. 33 people died as a direct result of those fires and hundreds more died from smoke inhalation. So it was quite devastating right across Australia. And now they're expecting conditions to be worse than what we saw then. So we're expecting 40+ degree temperatures right across the state. It'll be quite windy as well with damaging winds, a late change in the afternoon, which we could see wind gusts of up to 100 kilometres an hour. So these sorts of winds and hot conditions can really fuel a fire and push that along. And we've got 3 bushfires currently burning in Victoria. The main one of concern is the one burning at the Grampians National Park. Now, that one was started by a lightning strike. It's currently burnt through about more than 40,000 hectares of land. It's in really bushy, rugged terrain, which is quite dry, so it's making it very difficult for firefighters to get on top of that fire. There's also a fire burning at Balungarook, which is north northwest of Melbourne near Gisborne, and there's also one burning at the Gerties in the Gippsland area. So these 3 fires authorities have their eye on, and they're saying that Boxing Day we could really see conditions change and these fires kick off. So the message to the community is to remain vigilant, to make sure that you prepare your property earlier and that you have a bushfire plan ready to go and you know what you're going to do if things do change. They're also saying to anyone that's planning on travelling on Boxing Day, just given how bad these conditions are that we're expecting, maybe reconsider those travel plans and stay at home instead.
Yeah, some good advice, Mikaela. Beth, let's go to you in Adelaide. What are we expecting tomorrow?
Well, Emma, temperatures are going to climb in the coming days, and Christmas Day here in Adelaide tomorrow is set to be a scorcher. A top of 37 degrees is forecast. And then on Boxing Day in the city, we're expecting a windy top of 33 degrees as a cool change sweeps across the state. The Country Fire Service has already issued extreme fire danger in 5 districts tomorrow, including the Adelaide metropolitan area, the Mount Lofty Ranges and the Yorke Peninsula. There's also extreme fire danger forecast for several districts on Boxing Day, mostly across eastern parts of the state. Now, these are only preliminary forecasts, which mean at this stage it's just a guide and those ratings can still change, but we are expecting the CFS to provide an update on the situation at some stage today. But South Australian fire crews have already been on high alert. Only last night, crews worked to contain an uncontrolled blaze at Onkaparinga Hills near Woodcroft. That fire prompted a watch and act message, which meant locals in the area were advised to leave. But aerial bombers worked with fire crews to help contain that blaze around 7 o'clock last night. Now, total fire bans can be issued for either catastrophic or extreme fire danger. As I mentioned, we are expecting the CFS to provide an announcement as to whether those ratings will be upgraded or if total fire bans will be imposed. But the Bureau this morning has already said that catastrophic fire danger is still a possibility. So, Emma, definitely a time for all South Australians to be vigilant.